Hello guys, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. It's Jimmy Trades here. Thank you for joining me today, this Tuesday morning. Let's head on over to the calendar. Before we do that, let's be sure to subscribe, hit the like button so that we can tell the algorithm to share the channel far and wide, share this video far and wide, help increase our audience. Right over the calendar, we are looking at Tuesday, May 20, and we have no news. We went through this yesterday. We've got a very quiet week on the news front, only Thursday with news this week, high impact news on Thursday, so nothing today. Rightio, let's move over to the charts. Alrighty, be sure if you want to grab some evals, grab your Tradeify evals using code Jimmy Trades or code Jimmy for Apex. We've still got 80% off with Apex until the end of today. So last chance to get that. 80% off or 35% off with Tradeify for the rest of the month across all their accounts. Here we are with NQ and ES side by side. Having a look on the daily chart. We'll also have a quick look at, I took a small trade during London for a loss. It is what it is, unfortunately, but it was a loss nonetheless. So we'll have a quick look at that as well, straight after we look at today's bias. We didn't do that great yesterday with bias. In fact, we got it rolling across most assets yesterday, which is not like us at all. So let's see if we can do better today. All right, we have swept out previous day high already. We do want to see the 50% level of the previous day's wick and candle respected. So here on NQ and ES, we see that both assets are respecting the 50% level. In fact, they're respecting the top 25% of the previous day's range at the moment. And we did come out of this bullish FEG here with a nice SMT as well. So we're starting to see price across NQ and ES correlate again. We can see the back end of last week, there was very little correlation. The candles for NQ were doing something much different from ES. So we finally start to see some correlation here, and I'm anticipating that we can see some expansion. But let's have a look down on the hourly and see what the hourly's got for us. So after we swept out the highs here, we do have a little stop hunt from the hourly. They change its state of delivery here. So this will be my level of interest at the moment. Will this level resist price and we see price continue to move lower, or will we move higher and close above, disrespect this level and continue our run towards new all-time highs? So this is my level of interest that I'm looking at today as we move into New York Open, to see this level respected or disrespected. We do have this large range here. We could see price potentially move down into this discounted bullish FEG here before a push higher as well. So that's also possible. We did get a close back inside on the current 4-hour, or the previous 4-hour candle. So back inside the range out of a bullish point of interest for both NQ and ES. So although not, not the strongest, because we did sell back down a little bit, we did close back inside the range. So this could be showing us that we could see price continue to move higher out of this level here. But we'll stick with that bullish idea for now. Let's drop down to the 15-minute. You can see we've moved into some consolidation here. Now I was looking at this candle here, this 330 candle. If we quickly do a little bit of replay, drop down to the 1 minute. Just looking at these equal lows here. This is what I was looking at, and it was actually a little bit before that. Let's go back to the 15 here. $330. I was down here a little bit. Yeah, okay, so it was the 245 candle. All right, so let's slide across to there. So in hindsight, this candle closure wasn't really what I was looking for. It was fairly weak. I would have preferred to see it just, displace lower here. We didn't get that. So what I was looking at really was price closing through these opposing candles, looking for the London lows to be swept here. We have all this low resistance liquidity to the high, and I was anticipating price to sweep these lows out and then look to run higher. But that didn't happen, so I got in. I put my stop at the high, targeting the low. And as we can see, I nearly got stopped out there. I was already in the position by then, so I think I got in just on this candle here. We had SMT. So there's a few things aligned here. We had the change in state of delivery. No FEG here. I would have liked to have seen a bullish FEG to invert, but we did get the change in state of delivery, so I was okay with that. And then price ran lower for a little bit, chopped sideways before eventually stopping us out. So that was a stop out on that one. Maybe these London lows will be resting here for New York Open. We'll see how that plays out. I was a little lost there. And look, I had this little feeling. I was like, well, we've got all this low resistance liquidity. That was standing out to me. It wasn't enough for me to not take the trade. I did still take the position. However, this was something that was sort of niggling away at me while I was in the position. Will this get run out? Will this low resistance liquidity get run out after I'm successful or unsuccessful in the trade? So, and we can see that it's, there's just nothing stopping this. As soon as price broke through here, it just cleaned it out. So, would have been a good little long there. Anyway, it is what it is. Moving on to the next asset. Let's go and jump over to oil on the daily. A little bit of indecision here at the moment with oil. We are still respecting this bearish FEG here on the daily. Now, has RB swept out that high by any chance? So RB has swept out this high. So we do have an SMT with RB at present. So RB already sweeping out previous day high. This being the correlated asset to CL. Look, as we respect this bearish FEG, and we have that SMT at the high, I'll run bearish for now. We've got low resistance liquidity built up down through these lows here as well. So we'll see if we can target out these lows. Previous day low, obviously the first target being the low hanging fruit. How's the hourly shaping up? Yeah, we're in a little bit of consolidation here. You can see that really quite clearly. Just got this chop through here. You can see that low resistance liquidity. These relative equal lows here. Has a nice draw. This hourly candle is closed back inside the range of the previous one. Quite a seller's wick to the high there. We'll just have to see how we break out of this range, to be fair. There's not a lot that I'm liking on oil here right now. We can see there's some real indecision through price here. Looks like we're strong, sell off, strong, sell off, just chopping around. Because we do have, you know, on the top side of price here, we've got this low resistance liquidity here as well. I think we're going to be really patient with oil at the moment. Not going to rush into anything with oil right now. Let's have a look at gold. Daily. Fairly indecisive candle yesterday. Didn't take the previous day high or low. So inside bar. Today though, we have swept out previous day low. And we do have low resistance liquidity resting through these highs. For that reason, I do like the idea of being bullish. And our most recent information is still this bullish FEG, so price still pushing out of there, but we've just gone into a little bit of consolidation here. So if we look at the hourly, it's a little bit of a wedge, isn't it? See that quite clearly here. I mean, if you're a pattern trader, you're just going to be looking for, you know, a breakout and a retest, breakout and a retest. For now, if we want to see price respect this bullish FEG, we've got a change of state of delivery here, although, you know, I'm not a big fan of the failure swing. Silver did take out the low, so we have an SMT there. So that's okay, I can work with that. And look for us to see price expand here. something like this. All right, so gold, bullish for gold, looking for price to respect the bullish PD array here and move higher. We've got these relative equal highs right through here. You can see as well, all these highs here. Right, let's jump over to Euro futures on the daily. So we had a bullish bias yesterday. Obviously, that was always going to be tricky with price already expanding beyond this swing high here. So whilst we did see a nice bullish closure, price did retrace a little bit. So it's going to be hard to take a position. And when we're trading at previous highs, it's not a level that you really want to be looking to price, to trade higher from, unless of course there's a continuation signature and you're confident enough with that position. But you can see here, price sold back into the range. Now, today we see we are respecting the 50% level of the previous day. We had a nice strong closure still, even though we sold off a little bit, we still closed strong above previous day high here. I'd be looking for price, the low hanging fruit being previous day high. Down to the hourly, we have this change in state of delivery here, which is being tested right now. We want to see this level hold. Okay, got a bullish breaker block here. We had a sweep out of this level. This level needs to hold. If that level's to hold, if we run our projections from the low to the high here, we can have our target region up here. You can see that targeting that previous day high will be up here, and our target area above that. That's what we'll be looking at. So long as this level holds, okay, we need to see this level hold. Look, bullish there for Euro futures. And over to Dixie. Respect being shown here to previous day equilibrium. Looking at this low here, stands out for me because there is no wick to the downside. Therefore, it's a high level draw on liquidity. And we're still respecting this bearish gap here as well. So price is still respecting this level. Let's move over to GBP. So similar to 6E, price respecting the 50% level here. The low hanging fruit is the previous day high, and we actually have equal highs here. So I'll keep bullish for now. We are getting a little shift lower here, but I also like the idea of price sweeping out these lows into this bullish FEG to then make its run higher. So I actually like that idea. Let's see if that plays out. Moving over to Bitcoin. solid buyer's wick yesterday. But the previous day high has been left open. And I'm just going to use the wick for this example here because the wick is larger than the body. And so long as we hold the 50% level of this wick, we'll look to see price move higher. We've got our move out of this gap down here and this strong bullish wick from previous day. If this can hold at the equilibrium, then we should see price continue to move higher. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I'm going to wrap the video up there. Appreciate you for joining me as always. Head over to Trade Foundry where we stream most days of the week. We look forward to seeing you over there. Link is in the description. Bye for now.